hot. It's actually cold. It's cold outside. A little rainy. But now I'm in the lights in the studio and everything, and it's hot. I call it a studio. Literally, it's my kitchen. There's nothing behind me. Like, I exist here. This is my world. Welcome to Boy Meets Beans. I'm the boy. The beans are under the table. Today, I thought I would do something a little fun. And by fun, I mean I know what I'm about to drink. And I know that I'm going to relatively enjoy it. And that's kind of a rarity for this, because the past few episodes I've kind of just jumped into things blind and been surprised by what it is I'm actually doing. But today, I'm actually going to know what I'm getting into. Kind of. We'll get there. Today we're talking about Café Bustelo. The beautiful yellow brick that you see in grocery stores. It costs $2.99 for a brick that's 10 ounces. This is espresso ground coffee, very much rooted in Latin culture. The company was started in 1928 by a Spanish immigrant named Gregorio Bustelo. He met his wife Angelina, they fell in love, they opened up a coffee shop in East Harlem, New York. That was the first coffee in New York. They claimed to cater specifically to the Latin immigrants. Gregorio traveled to a lot of different countries in Latin America, including Cuba, which is where a lot of this sort of style is rooted in. He created a coffee that people from Latin America could drink and feel like they are at home. That's the idea. And when you go on their website, all of that is very apparent in their branding. My favorite thing about this coffee, besides the actual coffee, is its branding. You go down a grocery store coffee aisle, you see a lot of the same kind of colors in the bags. You have a lot of brown, a lot of red, a lot of very muted tones. And then you see this beautiful little brick of fun with a lady. This is Angelina, supposedly. I mean, I don't know if it's actually what she looks like, but it's a drawing rendition of her. But this is just such, it just stands out. It really pops into the eye. I was always really drawn to that. As I said, I've had this coffee before. I know what I'm getting into, and I'm gonna like it. This got me through grad school. This was the coffee that I drank when I was in grad school, in the library, in the department conference room, jamming away at papers and what have you. This is what I drank, and I liked it. I really, really liked it. Now, I don't know if I liked it because it was the thing that was fueling my degree. I don't know if I liked it because I didn't know what I was drinking at the time. Who's to say? What I do know is it's cheap. You can buy it in the grocery store, and that's kind of the whole point of this series. So we're gonna drink it, but we're gonna drink it a different way than what I normally do. Bear with me. Knife safety, kids. Their standard ground coffee doesn't really have a lot of things listed on the website about where it's from. They say that it's a blend, dark, pure, and filled with flavor. The thing about Café Bustelo that makes it kind of unique is that it claims on the package, you can see it says espresso ground coffee. Now, what does espresso ground coffee mean? Well, what it normally means is that this coffee is supposed to be much, much more finely ground than what you would normally find in a bag of supermarket coffee. So what I've done here is this is just some coffee that I just ground really quickly. This is coffee that's ground on a Virtuoso around 20. This is what you would standard auto drip grind should look like. And then on the other side here, I'm going to put some of the Café Bustelo. Now you can see this is a lot finer than this. You know, we're kind of looking at the difference between something like a salt and a sugar. Two very, very different grind styles. Now the reason for that is because this is meant to be ground and used in a stovetop espresso maker, which I'll get to in a second. It is meant to be used in small amounts to produce tiny, strong cups of coffee. It is not meant to be used in an auto drip coffee maker. Don't tell him that though. So we're in kind of an interesting boat here, which is that the coffee that I have is not meant to be used in this machine. Now, I have never had Café Bustelo in this machine. I've always made it using an AeroPress. I don't have an AeroPress with me today. What I do have is this. You could call this whatever you want. Mocha pot, cafetera, cafetiere. If you're in America, it's stovetop espresso maker. Whatever it is, this is what I'm gonna be using to make the Café Bustelo. It's pretty much a steam-based pressurized system. Water goes in this, ground coffee goes in this. You screw it all together, put it on a stove, it heats up and comes out into the chamber right here. And then you have coffee. So that's how I'm gonna brew it. I'm also gonna brew it in this. Now, I know for a fact that when it comes out of here, it is not going to be good. I don't expect it to be good, but that's because not the coffee is bad, but because of the grind size. What I'm trying to do here is show you that different grind size is important. You can't just put everything inside an auto drip machine and expect it to taste good. Sometimes things are gonna have different factors. Grind size is one of them. I'm gonna brew this in a maca. I'm gonna use the method that I've always kind of done and seen people do, which is about 10-to-1 ratio of coffee to water. Pour that, we'll make some in this, and then we'll do a taste test and see what the differences are. Okay, so we're here now. We have a pot, we have a filter in. We'll put some water in it in a second. I don't actually know how much to put in the machine. This doesn't have any instructions on the packaging or online of how to actually brew it inside of a drip coffee maker. I feel like probably using the same instructions that we used for the Melita coffee would be accurate. So maybe 3/4 teaspoon per cup. I'll brew 4 cups. So let's call that, what's 3/4 times 4? Hey Fred. Hey, what's 3/4 times 4? You might, 0.75, I don't know if you know fractions. Oh, okay, sorry, I can't assume anything, you're just a hair. Thank you, Fred. So the answer is 3. So we're gonna do 3 teaspoons. I don't know math, I was a history major. Now, if this seems like we're not actually doing a lot of coffee, it's because we're not. And that's because the point of how this is supposed to work. So that's about 4. We're gonna add some more water because I did the wrong measurements. 6. Hey, Fred. Hey, I told you the wrong numbers, man. I'm sorry. I don't think you're bad at math. I know you're just a bird. But like, I don't want you to think that I don't respect you and value you. All right, cool. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. All right, we're gonna do the mocha pot now. So we're gonna fill this basket here with coffee. Coffee into this. Gonna give it a little level. We make messes on this channel, that's okay. Now, I know that the pot chamber is gonna contain about 200 grams of water. So these things normally work on a 10-to-1 ratio. So I'll be putting about 20 grams, give or take, of coffee into the basket. And then we'll put this with boiling water into the chamber, close it all up, put it on the stove, let the heat make steam, coffee will come out, and we'll do a side-by-side taste test. It's coffee taste test time. I got some cups. I got little glass cups because I want to be able to see if there's any difference in the actual texture of the coffee. Whether or not there is, I don't know. We'll see. So first we'll pour out some of the mocha pot coffee. And we'll do this. The first thing I want you to notice about these 2 cups is the color. Now on the right is the Cafe Bustelo that we did in the stovetop espresso pot. And on the right, you can see the coffee that came out of the auto drip coffee maker. The differences here, that may look a little cleaner, but it also doesn't look like it's been extracted hardly at all. So the coffee that came out of the auto drip maker is going to be very acidic. The reason for that is because it was not very well extracted. And the reason it wasn't well extracted is because the coffee didn't have enough time. These things are meant to have a little more infusion time with the coffee. But when you don't have that, it comes out looking what may look clean, but actually has more like the color of like black tea if you really look at it. Let's give them a taste. I'll try the one that I pretty much know what it's gonna taste like, which is this first. This is the stovetop style. It's rich, it's very smoky. It's interesting, it's very developed. Now it's a very dark roast, that's to be expected, but yep, it's got a good texture to it. Velvety, it's strong, it's very strong. But that's the whole point. You're supposed to drink it in small doses like this, or mix it with a lot of cream and sugar, what have you. But drinking it black is supposed to be drunk in small doses like you would drink, espresso. It's definitely not for everybody, strictly because of the strength. However, if you like, some strong coffee, or if you're looking to make sort of DIY cappuccino or latte, you could do something like this. It'd be really good. Let's try the other one. It does not have, it's got a weird smell. It smells acidic. And I don't know how to really tell you that other than me telling you that, but when you know, you know. That's very underdeveloped. There's really not a lot going on at all. The profile of it is very bland. If anything, it does teeter more on the acid side of things. A little bit of sourness to it. It doesn't taste like it got any flavor out of the coffee at all. It just kind of, it tastes like dirty water. It tastes more like dirty water than coffee already is, which coffee is, let's be honest here, just dirty water with beans in it. But there's so much more texture in the one that's made the way it's probably designed to be made in something like this. You get a lot more out of it. It's definitely a more developed cup. It's strong. It is strong. It is very strong. But it's supposed to be. Now, you could obviously dilute this with a little bit of hot water, make an Americano out of it, or something very similar to Americano. Like I said, milk drink would be fine with it. This isn't bad. For the first time me actually using this Moka pot, I probably could have managed the heat a little bit better on the stove, maybe turn down the heat, took it off the burner a little bit sooner, but for just the first shot, not bad. I'll probably finish off that pot. I won't be finishing off this. It doesn't taste, it really does kind of remind me of black tea. It tastes more like black tea than coffee, and coffee's not supposed to taste like black tea. Now, it may have a scent of black tea. I know that some coffees that I've had from Tanzania, for example, they have kind of a tea smell to them, but they taste like coffee, not tea. It's very weird, and the reason it tastes like that is because it has not extracted anything out of the coffee at all. So, what have we learned? Well, hopefully, the grind size is important. You should not treat something that says an espresso grind like you would something that you put in, say, a French press or an auto drip coffee maker. The result isn't going to be as good. Things are made the way they're made for reasons, which may sound really stupid, but when it comes to coffee, you can't treat every brick or bag or can in the coffee aisle the same way. Some things are going to be made differently to suit different purposes. This is not meant to be put inside an auto drip maker. It's meant to be made in a stovetop espresso machine, like a Moka pot or something like that. And when you make it right, the results can be pretty good. When you make it the incorrect way, the more method of choice for most people, what is the result? The result isn't terrible. It's not like the chicory coffee or the Twinkie coffee or the pumpkin spice coffee. This is not a terrible thing. But it got worse as it sat and got to temperature. God, there's nothing going on. I take back everything I said. It's not very good because it's not being used the right way. It's kind of like when you go into a workshop, some people out here use tools. I don't. I make a YouTube series about coffee in front of my front door. You go into a tool shop, you see there's all kinds of different drill bits, right? Each drill bit has a different purpose. So there's even different kinds of drills. Sometimes there's a rotary drill and an impact driver. Now, what's the difference between those two? I don't know. I stand in front of a camera and yell sometimes.
Sorry to interject. I'm Ben. I'm the one he references sometimes to put things in the edit. I'm interjecting because, as a previous tool user, I actually know the answer to what he's talking about. A regular drill is just going to spin the screw into whatever metal wood you're trying to put it into. But an impact driver, it's going to spin like a normal drill, but it's also going to be hitting it in like a hammer too, so that it goes even further in and stays in as well as it can. You want to use it when you don't want the thing to ever move again. Back to the beans.
Similarly, coffee can have different uses as well. And when you use the right tools for the right job, pretty good results. It's also cheap as crap. It's $3 for a 10-ounce brick. And when you're making espresso style coffee, you're making it in much smaller doses. This can last you a very long time. I would highly recommend giving it a shot if you haven't. And if you have, let me know what you think. Do you make it in a Moka pot? Do you have another sort of stovetop espresso device that you use to enjoy this? Have you been using a auto drip maker and are interested in trying it a different way? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? If you like this video, click the button to make sure you know that I get videos done. What's it called? A bell? Notification bell. And subscribe. I know what that means. It means that you like me, so thank you. To everybody who has already subscribed, glad you're still here. If you're new, more of this to come as the time comes. Halloween's coming up. Expect a really good video for Halloween. I have a great idea for something. I'm not going to tell you about it yet. Super secret. Shh. But I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you to everybody who watches, and wherever you are in the world right now, I hope your day is going well and you're staying happy and healthy. Goodbye.